What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sebastian. Quick channel update. This is my 8th video out of the 52 video challenge that I set for this year. It's been a couple months now, and I started with 15 subscribers and now I have 44 subscribers, so gained 30 subscribers in less than 2 months. Most are friends, some are family, and a lot of you guys are strangers that I haven't met, so thank you so much for being here, for supporting the channel, and for joining me on my journey. Today I'm going to talk about the Canon 50mm f1.2L lens, which is the lens that I'm shooting this video on right now. You can see it's got a nice little creamy bokeh behind me. It was one of the lenses I was super excited about getting when I first started my journey as a photographer. Before getting this lens, I had the 1.8mm version, which is a lot cheaper. It's arguably one of Canon's most sold lenses because it's only $150. It's great for portraits, it has a wide aperture, and it produces really sharp images. This 1.2 version is its big brother. It's also 10 times the price. I bought this lens more for photography than anything else, but recently I've been starting to get more into video. I haven't used it yet, except for maybe a little bit of B-roll, and I figured to myself, how good is this lens for videography? So I decided to take it for a test in Tahoe. So one of the major downsides to this lens is the fact that it's lacking image stabilization. This makes it a really difficult lens to shoot handheld with, but if you have a gimbal, that'll remedy the problem. I used my DJI Ronin S during our trip in Tahoe, so I didn't really need to worry about in-camera stabilization. Now you can shoot handheld if you want to, especially for close-ups of subjects. Subjects that aren't moving are preferable. And in that instance, I would recommend shooting at a higher frame rate, slowing it down, and stabilizing it in post. However, post is not the best solution for stabilizing. It's not always perfect. So you really have to try your best to get the most stable footage possible in camera by keeping your movements slow and steady. At f1.2, this is considered a really fast lens, which means that it has a wide aperture, allows more light to reach the sensor, and allows us to use a faster shutter speed. The other great thing about this lens is that it will allow you to shoot in low light without bumping up the ISO in camera, so you don't get grainy footage. But on the flip side, if you're shooting in the middle of the day, your image will be super overexposed and blown out because of how much light is coming in at f1.2. So you will definitely need to invest in an ND filter in order to block some of that light when you're shooting wide open. So as everyone knows, the biggest perk of shooting at such a wide aperture of 1.2 is you're going to get that creamy, beautiful bokeh in your background. At f1.2, the depth of field is extremely shallow, and the subject really stands out in front of that background. This is one of the main reasons you would buy this lens, and it does a great job at isolating your subject. You can also shoot in a higher frame rate and slow down that footage in post to create a more dramatic effect. One of the tough things about this lens is when you're shooting that wide at 1.2, it's really difficult to pull manual focus. The autofocus is pretty good, but it's still a little slow to react sometimes. Finally, it's important to note that this lens is one of Canon's L series lenses, which means it's top of the line and a serious piece of glass. It's weather sealed, so you can confidently take it into different types of weather to get your shots. I used it in snow for like 15 minutes to get these shots, and the lens, camera, and gimbal were all wet. But at the end, everything survived. Every good videographer knows how important it is to have reliable gear when you're out in the field shooting in the elements, and this lens hasn't let me down yet. So is the 50mm f1.2 Canon lens something that you should have in your kit as a videographer? The short answer is yes, but it's not perfect. You can get extremely beautiful creamy bokeh, blurry backgrounds, you can shoot in low light situations, you can shoot in the toughest elements and make it out alive. But most important, if you have a gimbal, use it. The lack of image stabilization in this lens can make things a little bit difficult, but if you have a gimbal, it'll make things a lot easier in post. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you've shot footage on a 50mm f1.2 lens, link me the video in my comments and I'll go check it out. I'll be making another video next week, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll leave you with a little bit more footage from the Canon 50mm f1.2 lens.